What is up, you guys? It's Emma or Sunrise Sims. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. So happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe. Yeah. So first off, I have to say, this is a hospital build, as I'm sure you could tell from the title. Second off, I have to say, sorry that this video is late. If you know anything about my channel, if you have been following me for a while, you would know that Saturdays are for community lot builds, but I was very behind this week. I was sick, so everything just kind of was... I just fell behind, basically. This was a massive build, yeah. And wow, this voiceover sucks. I always record voiceovers like way too late at night, and then they all are terrible. Anyway, so I'm trying to get this done today. I finished the build this morning. I'm recording the voiceover now, and I'm going to put up this video as soon as I've done this and exported it and everything. Yeah, so I'm sorry that this is late. I mean, I did have a video go up yesterday, so check out yesterday's video, my CC showcase. That's a cool video. And yeah, I also have to apologize that this build is an absolute mess. So I think footage got corrupted or something. So there's like footage missing, basically. Like of a couple of things downstairs and something on the second floor. So there's like footage missing, so you're not going to see everything being done, but do stick around for the screenshots at the end of the video, and then you'll be able to check out everything that I did in this hospital. So let me just run through what you get. So this is a 3-story hospital, so there's a lot. Alright, so on the first floor, or the ground floor, whatever you want to call it, you have a reception area and a waiting room. You have a gift shop, you have an office, you have a cafeteria, a staff room, toilets, a janitor's closet, and then you have your emergency room with 2 operating rooms and an x-ray room. Is that everything? I'm just like picturing it in my head. Yes, that's your ground floor. Then the next floor you have, again, a waiting area, a reception area like a nurse's station, an office space. You have 2 more operating rooms, a room like a recovery room, or like pre-surgery room where patients wait to go into surgery and then wait when they get out of surgery. You have a maternity ward with an operating room, a birthing pool room, a nursery, and 2 semi-private rooms. And then you also have a sleeping room for doctors or surgeons. Also toilets, and then you have 2 comfort rooms, one sort of church vibe, and then one sort of like prayer room, because I was trying to be diverse and inclusive and stuff. And then on the 3rd floor, or the top floor, you have a lab for like blood testing and stuff. You have the chief of surgery's office and like his little reception area. You have 2 private rooms, and then 1 like room with like 4 or 5 beds, and then also toilets, another staff room, and then like a playroom daycare thing for, you know, employees who have kids so that they can drop their kids off there. Is that it? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I was going to put in a morgue, but I just didn't know how I would I didn't have custom content for a morgue, but I would have put a morgue in the basement if I could have. That was one of the ideas I had. I also was supposed to put in stairs because, like, you know, what if there's an emergency or a power outage, then you can't use elevators, obviously stairs, duh, but I just forgot. Because the floor plan for this was a nightmare. Like, it took me ages. I mean, this is my filming. It seems like I pretty much have it down. But like, I pre-filmed this and did it over and over and over again, and it was just an absolute nightmare. So yeah, once I realized that I hadn't put in stairs, I just like could not go back and change it. I could not. So yeah, I did forget stairs, and that's disappointing. And then of course there's like a rooftop where helicopters land for emergencies. So this is like a hospital. I do plan eventually on making like a GP's office, like your general practitioner, your family medicine doctor type of office in like an old house that's been transformed into a doctor's office. Like I do want to do that with just like, you know, diagnostic stuff, you know, not like a proper hospital. So that I'll do in the future. But yeah, that's the hospital. Sorry, this is like the third time I'm recording this voiceover. Now I can't remember if I said this or not, but some of the footage is missing. I don't know what happened. But yeah, some of the footage is missing. The maternity ward and the operating rooms and everything is all missing. I don't know what happened. Like some of it got corrupted, but some of it didn't even get filmed or something. Huge mess. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I really have to say about the build. It was fun though. It was big, and I think I need to take a break from big builds because like a police station, a school, and a hospital are all like freaking massive. So next week I'm going to do something a little bit smaller and more manageable because yeah. And of course there's a lot of custom content, and the downloads are in the description down below, even though I don't expect anybody to download the furnished version of this because it's huge. And then like I've said in my other videos, this is obviously not a rabbit hole, but you can download rabbit hole rugs that will turn this into a rabbit hole, and I will leave the link to those in the description down below. Even if you just want to, you know, download them to make your own community lots, you don't have to do them for my community lots. I just think it's a really cool mod that you can download. Because yeah, I love making community lots. Like I'm having so much fun using all this custom content, and like to be also like creative to make things that people don't make in The Sims. I don't know, it's been fun. I know I always say this, but my voiceovers are terrible. Anyway, let's go into story time. My experience in a hospital. So backstory. Last year I finished my university degree, and to celebrate I decided to go to America, to Boston, for 3 months over the summer to visit my best friend. So I got there sort of middle of June and left middle of September. It was a flippin' amazing holiday. Went to Boston, but also got to see LA. I saw Michigan and Vermont. I should have gone to New York, but I'd been to New York already and decided not to go, which was a big mistake because if I was only in New York, this wouldn't have happened to me. But yeah, I met someone, I fell in love, you know, it was a whole thing. We're not together anymore, but it was a really wonderful holiday. So I met this guy on Tinder, of course, and yeah, it was very whirlwind romance. Within like a month, he told me he loved me and everything, and I was like, cool, same. And he had a moped, and I remember our first date, he came to pick me up on the moped, and I was like, hell no, I am not getting on that moped. You go and fetch your work van or something, because there's no way. But then eventually, after, you know, when you spend enough time with each other, you're just like, oh, well, this is like the best way to get around. So I got on the moped, and it was fine for like the whole summer. It was fine. The moped was absolutely fine until one fateful day, 2 weeks before I left. So at least it was towards the end of the holiday. I had slept over at his house because my best friend had gone to New York, which I should have gone to as well. Otherwise, like I said, I wouldn't have been in this mess. But I'd slept over at his house, and he worked very close to where my best friend lived. So we were on our way to his work, and then I would have walked back to my best friend's house from there. And we were just driving along on the moped when a car came to a stop. So we had right of way. We were on the street. and a car came to a stop on one of the side streets, and I guess didn't see us and was turning left, so pulled like right out in front of us, and there was just no time to stop or anything, so we collided with this car, and I flew off the moped. And like, I just remember, first thing I did was, of course I was wearing a helmet, so first thing I did was take off my helmet. But in terms of protective gear, that was it, because I was like in shorts, I was in a crop top. Like, luckily that morning I decided to put on a jacket for the ride, even though it was really hot. I was like, no, I feel very bare without this jacket, so let me just put on this jacket. So luckily I had a jacket on, but I was wearing shorts. Anyway, so I flip over this car, land on the floor, take off the helmet, and oh my gosh, the pain. It felt like my entire right leg had like popped out of its socket. It was so sore. And I was just lying on the floor like crying. And my boyfriend at the time crawls up to me and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm just like, ah. And then like people come up and like I just see people in my line of vision. They're like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. And then, yeah, there was like a cop there really, really fast. So this was a new experience. I mean, I've never had an accident in South Africa. Well, I've had like a car accident, but nothing fatal. It's just like a bumper to bumper thing. But like the emergency services in America are so much faster. So there was like a cop on the scene within like a minute. And it was like, it felt like I was in a movie. Because obviously 911 is an American number. And you see people like in movies and on series all the time, like, someone call 911. And it was like that was happening. Someone was like, has someone called 911? And the other person's like, I did, but I couldn't get through. And then the other lady's like, I'm going to go do it. And then she like ran off to her car to call 911. And then the ambulance was there very quickly. So we took an ambulance ride to Brigham and Women's Hospital. And I'm laughing now, but it was horrible. Excuse me if you heard that phone. My ex called my best friend while we were in the ambulance because I didn't have I didn't join any of the cell services while I was there, so I only had signal or whatever when I was in Wi-Fi. So obviously we weren't in Wi-Fi, so he called my best friend for me and like gave me the phone in the ambulance, and I was just like, she was in New York, and I was just like, ah, like crying, and she was like, okay, I'm coming back today, I'm gonna get a bus, I'm coming back. And we get to the hospital and get taken into an emergency room, and it was just like crazy. There was so much going on, and people were like poking at me and putting in IVs and asking me questions about my neck and did I lose consciousness and da 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 da. And there was like so much happening, and I was like, ah. And I was obviously in a different emergency room to my ex. And then I was wheeled off, got a CAT scan, got x-rays. But basically what happened is I broke my ankle in 2 places. One of them was an open fracture, which is disgusting. And then eventually my best friend's mom got there, and she was like, oh my god, what happened to you? So I broke my ankle, and then I had to get taken I had to get put under anesthetic for debridement or debridement, I think you call it in America, where they just clean out the open fracture, and then they just like check to see if they needed to put metal in it or whatever, which they didn't. And then I spent the night in hospital, like to be monitored and stuff, and to have like my course of antibiotics, and I got a cast. And yeah, I spent the whole night in hospital, and it was awful. And like I had the neck brace on the whole night because they just weren't sure if I had damaged anything in my neck, so I had to have that on the whole night. It was so uncomfortable, and I couldn't sleep. And my ex stayed in the hospital room. He was fine, he just had stitches in his knee, but he spent the night in hospital with me on like one of those little cots that they bring in, and he like snored the whole night, so I couldn't sleep at all. And then I spent the next 2 weeks in the US with a flippin' broken ankle, and it was such a bummer. And I was supposed to go to the Childish Gambino concert with him, but I couldn't, and I was so mad about that. And it was just like, and then I got tonsillitis, and yeah, it was just crazy. Like, it was such a wild experience. It's probably like the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. Like, I was in a moped accident. Like, yeah. I just felt like a movie. Like, my ex crawling up on the street being like, I'm so sorry, and like crying in the street, and me crying in the street, and I lost a shoe. Yeah, like I remember being in the ambulance, and she's like, yeah, I put your stuff over here, your shoes over there, and I'm like, my one shoe, where's my other shoe? And she's like, I'm sure it's in here somewhere, and I'm like, okay. And then eventually, like, in the hospital room, after all the chaos has calmed down, being like, where's my other shoe? And it was my favorite pair of shoes too, and I still haven't replaced them. But yeah, of course, as Americans do, I am suing. I didn't want to sue at first. My ex was like, you must get a lawyer, you must sue. And I was like, I don't want to sue, Shay. Maybe it was just like, you know, he was just not concentrating, and like, we've all just lost our concentration driving before, and he probably, like, it's not like he was texting or anything. But then he was like, you know, at first it wasn't suing, it was just like making an insurance claim, so it wouldn't affect the guy personally, it would just be the insurance. So I said, okay, let's go through with it. So we got a lawyer and whatever, and my ex this year did get his settlement, but he wasn't as hurt as me, and the lawyer was like, no, they limited the claim, and you deserve way more money than that, so we're gonna sue. But I don't know, we're still waiting to see what happens. But I am kind of mad about it because the driver didn't once reach out. I didn't see him at the accident scene. He didn't come and be like, I'm so sorry, or he didn't say anything, and he didn't reach out to us afterwards to be like, look, I'm really sorry, it was just a lapse in judgment, or even to like admit if he was texting, or, you know, whatever it was that was happening. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll make a lot of money out of this. But like, it wasn't my first thing, and all the Uber drivers I talked to about it, they were like, yeah, you gotta sue. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But anyway, it seems like that's what's gonna happen. We're still waiting to see if the insurance will go back to their original like amount that they would have paid out before they limited it, because they limited it, and then yeah. So my ex took the limited claim. But yeah, maybe I'll get rich out of this. But I'm still mad. My knee is still completely, even though my ankle was broken, I had a lot of soft tissue damage in my knee, and I have nerve damage and everything in my knee, so I can't kneel. And I can't do any like jumping or running or anything that puts like a load on my knee, because it's uncomfortable, it's sore. And I'm still going to physiotherapy for my knee. It's just an absolute mess. It really sucks. I mean, it could have been so much worse, considering like I was in a moped accident. Like, people like die from that kind of thing. So considering what it was, I was very, very lucky to only have sort of damage below the hips, and nothing in my neck, nothing on my head, nothing like that. So yeah, one of my best friend's brother's best friend, she was like in a bicycle accident like literally a week after me, and she wasn't wearing a helmet, and she got knocked unconscious and everything, and she had like scratches all up on her face and stuff. So yeah, drivers in Boston though, like, I've heard about it ever since I've known my best friend, but now I've like truly experienced it. The drivers in Boston are wild. So yeah, crazy. But yeah, nothing brings two people together more than a near-death experience. It's just a shame that it didn't work out. I mean, long distance is really tough, so but yeah, that's my hospital story. I guess I didn't spend that much time in hospital, but I did the emergency room thing, I did the 911 thing, I did the ambulance ride, I did the CT scan, the x-rays, the operation. I spent time in the recovery room. I had my private room, like top floor. I got wheeled around in a wheelchair. And of course, like, going home, I had to fly home with a boot on my ankle. And I was very lucky. Oh, and I was very lucky that I had travel insurance, guys. My bills were like $40,000. Like, thank God I had travel insurance. And also because they flew me home business class, because how would you sit in economy class with a ginormous boot on your leg? Like, how? So I was very lucky. They upgraded me to business class, and I only had to leave one day early, and I got to fly business class on the way home. And of course I was like on Oxy, which is very hectic. I don't condone it, but I mean, I was very careful with it, but took that the whole flight home because, like, you know, air pressure and everything. It was wild. yeah. And then I've been in one like very minor car accident where no one was hurt. It's just the cars were all pretty badly damaged. That wasn't my fault either, but yeah, it's probably one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me. Makes for a really good story simply because it pretty much turned out okay, except for the fact that my knee still sucks. And then I can't like stupid stuff, like I can't do yoga, like child's pose, can't do child's pose. The like bending my knee that much and also putting pressure on my knee like that, like kneeling on it in that way, I can't do that. It's too uncomfortable, it's too sore. Yeah, very unfortunate. Anyway, that's my hospital story. I hope you enjoyed story time. If you have any questions about it, do let me know. But yeah, I'm just finishing off. I downloaded wheelchairs, so I'm just tossing those around. I also downloaded an ambulance, but I couldn't find it. It wasn't coming up. Sometimes like the cars, my custom content cars just don't show up. So I couldn't put the ambulance. I wanted to put it in the little bay there that I made next to the emergency room, but anyway, so I made a little parking lot. But yeah, I'm going to talk you through the screenshots because there's a lot to go through. I'm pretty much almost at the screenshots. Yeah, just putting some finishing touches outside, little medical waste bins, and of course the outside. Oh, there we go. That's the outside. Looking pretty, little top view back over there. So this is like the bottom floor waiting area. The gift shop with flowers, postcards, toys and sweets and stuff. This is just near the elevators. Another view of the waiting room. This is like the downstairs office, behind the nurse's station on the bottom floor. Bathrooms, which you didn't see me do at all. They all look the same on every floor. So janitor's room, cafeteria. It's quite a small cafeteria, but it's a small hospital, so yeah. This is like the downstairs staff room. There's a couple lockers there on the side for them to keep their stuff. This is the entrance to the ER. This is like the ER beds, some coding machines, waiting area in the ER, little passageway. This is like the scrub room, the operating room, another view of the operating room. This is like the patient recovery area on the second floor now. It's just a passage. This is the waiting area on the second floor, the office area on the second floor. This is the prayer room. This is the sleeping room. This is like the churchy room for praying and stuff. Floating Bible. This is the maternity area, birthing pool, nursery. This is going quite quickly. This is one of the rooms on the maternity area or floor. And their like private bathroom, and then the other one. This is the third floor now. That's the lab over there. This is inside the lab. A whole bunch of machines and fridges and stuff. This is the reception to the chief of surgery. This is his office or her office. Sorry, don't assume he's a man. This is the big room, some real chairs and stuff. This is one of the private rooms, and the private room's bathroom. This is the other private room. This is the staff room on the third floor, pretty much the same as the other one. This is the daycare center, and this is just some floor plan pics. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, comment what you think, and subscribe if you would like to see more. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.